Good evening, guys, and happy Monday to all of your sunshiny faces. Well, guys, I am going to go get in the shower and get to bed. However, today, I was up really early this morning because we had our vents cleaned today, and like the ducts got cleaned, and so I think we're supposed to come around 10 o'clock, between like 10 and something maybe, or something and 10, but they actually said that they were running earlier and that they would be here around 9. So I was up at like 8:30 and then took the dogs upstairs, the 2 puppies, and then just hung out upstairs. And Jack took Bliss outside and sat out on the back porch with her, which was like fine because it was pretty warm out today, although it was a little rainy. She literally just, like he said, she just stared at the back door the entire time, like just stood there and stared. So she had her bed outside, like she just stood at the front door. He said every once in a while she'd like go and like sort of lay back down, and then she'd just go and stare at the back door again. So all the vents got cleaned out. They actually sent us before and after pictures, which I don't know if I'll be able to, like, I think my mom has them though, but so I don't know if I'll be able to share them with you guys, but it was like, I've definitely seen worse vents, like people's, like, you know, again, like that have had the ducts cleaned and stuff like that. Definitely worse before pictures, but like it wasn't, you know, like I said, wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It was funny though, because like in, I don't know, maybe the kitchen or something like that, I don't know which duct it was, but the, like, right at the bottom of like the vent, like the part right at the, you know, the top, there was a lot of stuff in there. Like there was like little toys and like pencils and like that kind of stuff. So I was like, I feel like that was like Matthew probably when he was little, because his favorite thing to do, which I mean, he could have still done it, but, like, and put it through, like, the vent grate, because when he was little, his favorite thing to do was in the morning when he'd wake up for school, he would sit in front of the vent in the kitchen and just sit there while it was, like, hot, you know, like, the hot air was blowing out. He would just sit in front of it. And so, like, I just, like, that's the thing, too. Like, I remember, like, being little and, like, I was, like, getting ready for school, and, like, what's Matthew doing? He's sitting in front of the vent. Like, he's just sitting there with a blanket over himself, like, just sitting in front of the vent, letting it just blow hot air on him. I was like, really? So I feel like he would have been the kid that threw all that stuff down there, because like you saw too, like throughout like the other vents, it seemed like, oh, like, yeah, there's like one little thing, or, you know, something like that. And again, there was some dust in there, and you can definitely tell there's a way bigger difference between the before and after pictures. But there was like one vent that they cleaned and sent pictures from, and there was like a whole bunch of stuff in it, and I was like, I feel like I know what that came from or who that came from. So anyways, yeah, like I said, that got done today, which was really awesome. So we've had the heat on and everything, but it was nice to, you know, like I said, kind of get that all done and taken care of. But again, it wasn't like that bad. Like I was kind of expecting it to look way worse. However, it's like, I swear guys, it's one thing after another, right? So what he ended up telling us was that he couldn't go as aggressively in a couple of the areas of the vents as he wanted to, like with like the brushes or whatever, because they use like brushes and they also use like a vacuum, like a suction thing, and you know, that kind of stuff. He said there was like a couple areas where he wasn't able to, you know, like I guess like agitate the, you know, like the dust in certain parts of the duct work, because the ducts are rusted. So it could be like the moisture from the crawl space, which isn't like a very good thing to have. Like our crawl space is a little like, you know, like, I don't want to say musty, like that's definitely the wrong word, but like it does sometimes get a little like there's nothing like on the walls, like there's no cracks like in the foundation or anything like that. It's just, it's a crawl space, like an exposed crawl space. So there is like, you know, it's just like, it's not on a slab or anything like that. It's just like rubble like at the bottom, you know. So like that could be why that happens. And there is like a little bit of moisture moisture possibly down there. But I almost wonder, like, I don't know, because I was gonna say, I wonder if it could be though from like, we have had a couple times though where our like washing machine has overflowed, or like the dishwasher or something like that, but like there's still, the vents aren't close enough to it that like they would cause that. Like the washing machine's in the laundry room and there's no vents in the laundry room, like it's just the furnace, and it never has made it that far. There hasn't been like, it hasn't overflowed enough where there's like standing water, like there might be a little puddle or something like that. You know, or like I was saying too, like the dishwasher, I think that happened like honestly one time, the first time we got, like we put the new dishwasher in, I think my dad hooked it up wrong, and somehow the water ended up outside of the dishwasher instead of inside the dishwasher. So like that. But other than that, like I don't know what else would cause like the water, like, because I don't even know if there's pipes near the ductwork that like the pipes could have leaked, or you know, something like that. But he did say that they were a little rusty, and like that we might want to get them replaced soon. Which, you know, that's nice. That, I mean, it's a good thing to know that though, right? Like instead of just all of a sudden being like, wow, why isn't there hot air coming out of my vents, right? Like at least you know that going into it and like ahead of time, that like, and my mom was saying too, it's probably the ductwork from the original house, and the house was built over 50 years ago. So I think it was 50 years ago. Yeah, I think it was maybe 60 or plus, maybe 70 years ago. Like the house is, you know, probably 60, at least 60 years, I want to say. I think it was built in like 59, I want to say. So that's like 40, yeah, 60 plus possibly years. So yeah, because I definitely don't think it was built in the 70s. I think it was built before the 70s. I remember whatever year, because I did look it up, whatever year it was like, it ended in 9. So it had to have been like 59 or 69, and I definitely don't think it was 49. I think that was way too, like way too early. But like 69, that's almost 70s, and I feel like the house is not like a 70s house. So I want to say that it was 59 that it was built. And again too, the ducts were probably possibly original ductwork, or maybe they got replaced like once, but they're probably pretty much like the original ones. Original to possibly, like I want to say it probably was original ductwork. Even to where I was telling you guys, like when they did the addition like upstairs and stuff like that, like there was ductwork that used to go up there. I was explaining this yesterday, like because there was a return that's in the hallway, but it's not anymore, and there's actually ductwork that's like behind the wall that's in here, that you can't tell. The only reason we were able to tell was because we took the trim off, and you can see that it's back there. And because my dad was trying to run the electric to put an outlet on that wall, and he found out that there was ductwork there, and he's like, I can't run one, and you know, the exact spot he was going to, so he had to move it over a little bit. But yeah, like I said, it's like the ductwork's still there, even though it doesn't go to anything anymore. But if that was the case, the ductwork hasn't been replaced since before, or like, yeah, before the addition was put on. So anyways, yeah, that is what we had going on today. So I feel like everybody's been able to breathe maybe a little bit easier too, which is nice, because like I don't know that I really noticed it like that bad, like, oh, when the furnace is going and stuff like that, like my allergies get worse, but it does kind of feel like that. And I also don't know though too if it's like, oh, but when that happens, it's also like the stuffiness and, you know, like that kind of stuff. But you know, I don't know, it's just it's nice to have them cleaned, like for that benefit. And like my parents were kind of going back and forth whether or not they were actually going to get it done. And like Matthew's friend, who like he works like, you know, does heating and cooling systems and stuff like that, he was like, you don't really need to get it done. Like a lot of times it's suggested like when you move into a new house for the first time to get it done. My parents might have when we first moved in like 20 plus years ago, but I don't remember. And then, you know, like now we've lived in the house for 20 years and haven't had them cleaned since. So it's like, yeah, maybe you might want to. He's like, it's not that big of a thing, but if you are noticing like more allergies and stuff like that, then yeah, it's a good time to go ahead and clean them out. But it's not really something that's like a once a year thing that you have to do or anything like that. Like I said, compared to what our ducts looked like and being like, okay, well, it's at least been 20 years since they've been cleaned, it's not that bad. Like I said, I've definitely seen, like, again, some of those advertisements for stuff is like before and after pictures. It looked nothing like that. But, you know, like I said, it's just nice to have that kind of stuff all done and cleaned and everything. And to also know that we might need to have them replaced soon because they're a little rusty. Which I noticed when I went down into the crawl space the last time. I was like, they look like they're kind of like corroded almost. Like, it looked really weird, like from the outside. And I was like, so I don't know if maybe there was like a buildup of like moisture or something like that. Maybe even too from like the air conditioning, possibly. Like, I don't know if that can happen. But again, too, I have no clue what caused it. But I noticed something funky when I was in the crawl space the last time, and I was like, and this was just literally very recent, like this was when we were having the issue with the water in the laundry room, which I don't think was like the same thing, like that had anything to do with it either. That was probably like, that was where I saw it too, was way further away from it, like it was this side of the house instead of the other side of the house where the furnace, or not the furnace, the water heater was like leaking from. But when I went down there to go and check on that, that's when I noticed it was like the stuff that was like closer on my side, you know, over here, that I was like, oh, this kind of look like they're almost like corroded from the outside. So I wonder what the inside of the ducts look like. And that's when, like I said, he mentioned that as well. So it might be something that we have to look, you know, or look at in the future, but it's not a huge problem right now. Anyways, though, I'm going to take a shower and get to bed. I will see you guys in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give the gold thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.